Saidia. Usaidie.
Microphone check. Africa, testing sound. Welcome aboard, dear viewers, in one of 3 matches that I am hopefully left to stream before the close of action today. It is day 2 of 4 of the ongoing CUEMASTERS International Pool Carnival. We are at CUEMASTERS in Arusha in Tanzania. The tournament has last year's first runner-up, CHANDIGA, on 2 lives, taking on a player called Anthony from the Wadudu team in Tanzania, also on 2 lives. In the tournament of 128 players, only 16 are left because today we are playing the first life up to the final until we have only 2 players left in the competition. Now it is Anthony YEYO down by 2 frames to 1 against CHANDIGA, racing to 7 for a place in the first live quarterfinals, which shall, by the way, be played right after the end of the round of last 16 matches, which are all happening on 8 tables, all at the same time. I can see Maxi the Kenyan taking on a player I'm yet to ascertain. I can see Abeid Dao from Tanzania taking on Moses Mafia. I can see Saif Hamad, I think, taking on a player called Martin from Tanzania. That's an old Tanzanian derby. It's also round of last 16. The defending champion Royd Kabwe has lost one of his lives to Anthony YEYO, the guy that is taking on Caesar as we speak, and down by 2 frames to 1, and perhaps on the verge of winning a second for himself out of 4. Once again, 2 frames to 1. Caesar leading against Anthony, racing to 7 for a place in the first live quarterfinals here at CUEMASTERS in Tanzania. Here is Anthony making a sharp cut of the red to the center pocket. Yes, he does mean to cut them balls. He seems to be a good shooter. Maybe he'll be giving us a very good game. After all, he's the guy that has stopped the defending champion from taking his first life to the quarterfinals. Here he is, now wanting to cut black to the corner pocket top left, hopefully for himself. He does, seems to be on target. Yes, he is. Yes, he puts. Yes, he equalizes. Anthony 2, amidst a round of applause, and Caesar 2, race to 7.
7K. 7K ya Tanzania. Pesa ngapi? Hiyo chocolate. Lakini nikienda Nairobi hiyo chocolate napatanga free. Kuna mahali napatanga free. Mbona bila choko? Sina choko. Ndio maana
once again, as for the day that is today, on a Saturday, which is the 6th of December, we are playing the first life up to the final. Until we have only 2 players involved in the competition with 2 lives. So of the big boys left in the competition with the 2 lives, you may say that these 2 are part of them. Not a lot that you may meet knowing about Anthony, but yes, he's the guy that has the first life of the tournament's defending champion, Royd Kabwe. Moses Mafia on 2 lives, Abed Dao on 2 lives, Kelvin Fikoti on 2 lives, Saif Hamad on 2 lives. As now Caesar looks to complete another of his textbook clearances with backspin cue bouncing off the left cushion, and yes, in perfect space for him to regain the lead. The pot of the black is a formality. Anthony 2 and Caesar 3, and race to 7. Once again, the stream of this match is both on Break and Finish Live Facebook as well as Peter Chove Live YouTube with the same exact commentary. 3-2 Caesar up against Anthony, racing to 7. The tournament in some kind of way is in its infancy because there is no sign so far, because it is 16 players in the comp with 2 lives, and yet everybody who registered, of all of them 128, still have a chance of winning. The rest of the 96 are still involved with 1 life. The second life in the men's category will be starting tomorrow morning 9 a.m. East African time. The expectation is that we shall as well play the quarterfinals in the men's team event after the singles are done up to the final by around 8 p.m. East African time. And then on Monday, the tournament shall be played to completion with the finals in the first and second life. If we need, then we shall have a grand final. In a double life competition, a grand final is played between the winner of the first life and the second life. Like you saw the grand final between Caesar and Jerry about 7 days ago, last week, in the double life comp that was played at Billiards Cafe in Lusaka. If one of those players had won both sides of the chart, then we would have no grand final. We would simply have that same player taking positions number 1 and 2. Therefore, all players left in the competition, 16 of them, still have that outside chance of taking positions number 1 and 2. That wouldn't at all be a bad way of going to the bank. As with 3 yellows left on the table, Caesar seems to be on the verge of perhaps winning a 4th out of 6, wanting now to put the yellow ball to the corner pocket top left. Having a change of mind, perhaps on which ball to play first. Up to now, not yet made up. This one to be played with backspin. The cue ball being drawn a little backwards. Just a little backwards to have sight of the last yellow. This one can as well be rolled. It can also be played with the backspin, playing the cue ball into the red close to the center pocket simply. But he decides. By the way, that was a lot difficult than it was on the eye, avoiding any contact between white and red, and yet he played the backspin and with the power now rolling black to the corner pocket top left, and there goes the Scorpion winning his 4th in the match and leading by 4 frames to 2. The score is now at 4 frames to 2 with Caesar leading. Nonetheless, all credits to Anthony, a player with the Wadudu team that is now into the quarterfinals of the men's team event, who looks not to have given up the fight by any stroke of imagination. Representing Wadudu, representing himself, and yes, representing Tanzania, wanting to achieve in this match what will become in the singles the biggest win of his career. If he is to take down both Reid and Caesar in consecutive matches, the two players that contested the final of the competition the last time out that it was held, and they are facing the same guy, one of them down, the other still not so much. But yes, Anthony is in business. He's down by 4 frames to 3 in a race to 7. Vincent Seguya, greetings to you. How are you doing? Watching on Break and Finish Live Facebook. Monshilpat, thank you for watching as well. The same stream which is as well on Break and Finish Live Facebook as much as is on Peter Chove Live YouTube. Caesar 4, Anthony 3, race to 7.
Okay.
The break by Anthony was legal and fair, and he got to make 1 ball, actually 2 reds, and yet he's nominating to play yellows, closing the table. Anthony playing yellows with 1 aim to finish the frame and equalize against the Scorpion. If he did, both of them would need to win 3 out of the remaining 5 frames. Yes, the game is alive in Tanzania. We are so accustomed to the players that come from the teams that are snipers, that's a foul, as well as CUEMASTERS, but yet even in the lesser teams there are players that can give very good competition. Here is one of them, Anthony YEYO. He's the player that has ended the life 1 of the tournament's defending champion, Royd Kabwe, and is now attempting to end the same life of the player that came second the last time out that this competition was held, then in Tanzania's first city, that was Dar es Salaam. For this edition of the CUEMASTERS International Carnival, dear viewers, we are at CUEMASTERS in Arusha. Beautiful city, facing the highest peak of Mountain Meru, which you can see everywhere you are in the city. And yes, the tip of the peak is covered in clouds. You can only see it when the winds blow the clouds away, when it shines enough for you to see it. That's a very good impression of the city when you come into it for the very first time. Also quite developed a city. It will be a first city for so many African countries. I don't want to mention them, with nice buildings, tall ones, lots of cars, lots of traffic all over the place, lots of big offices, regional, national, international, including the parliament and headquarters of the East African community. Caesar looks to pounce after that miss from Anthony. That was so close, but not close enough. Almost certain it will be that he will be winning the frame with his next 2 shots. Certainly it could be that Anthony will be winning it instead. It is 4 frames to 2. Moses Mafia leads against Abeid Dao. He could make the quarterfinals. He feels at home in Tanzania. He's a member of the CUEMASTERS team, just as is Kelvin Fikoti and the other Zambian, Royd Kabwe, who has been exited in his first life by the very guy that you are watching right now, Anthony. Lil Paul is asking if Ibra Sejemba came to this competition. The answer is no, he did not. Also the answer to Anthony's attempt to play combination shot is no. It is a foul. You do think that Caesar will be playing black for a free shot. He's deciding instead to play yellow. The rest is a formality. Another little back spin. Black is passable to the same center pocket where there is a yellow, direct or off the yellow, with the same exact result. Caesar extending his lead now to 5 frames against Anthony's 3. Frame number 9 is upon us, dear viewers, with Caesar slowly but steadily starting to see some lights at the end of the tunnel, making himself a likely winner of the ongoing match. He won his first round of 128 players by walkover, not having an opponent in the round, having an opponent in the second and third rounds. The match he played in the third round was the most tricky of the 2 that he has played so far. A race to 7. One time it was 5-all before he won the last 2 frames against a little known player, again from Tanzania. Now here is another Anthony YEYO. Call him little known, but yes, once again he's the guy that has ended Royd Kaboy's first life in this match. Caesar looks to be on the verge of putting 2 reds, 1 to the corner pocket top right, 1 to the corner pocket top left. Maybe black to the same corner pocket. He may want to put his next red. He may want to slide the cue ball off the red, maybe play the cue ball into one of the yellows close to the black to stop its movement. Looks, it needs a lot of precision. He's not on target. Played the cue ball into the yellow, but not efficiently. Maybe he will even be happy for the fact that he has not potted. After all, he would have gotten himself snookered. Whether or not that will be the case, Anthony will want to snooker Caesar by himself. Pot the ball he's playing, then the one that is frozen against the cushion, he'll want to simply tap the cue ball onto it, play it into space. In the same shot, snooker Caesar, leave the cue ball at the same exact point where the frozen yellow is. Caesar looks at the ball just to ensure it's not on the cushion. Oh, there's agreement that the yellow is frozen against the cushion, but Anthony plays effectively because the cue ball touches the cushion. The snooker is effective. You get a feeling, shouldn't Caesar find the red from the angle, more likely than not he will be losing the frame. He's going for 2 cushions, 1, 2, there goes the cue ball, there it is a foul. Advantage Anthony. The free shot is not effective whatsoever. Play failing to play yellow into red. He'll want to snook again at the same exact point, perhaps. Sides this time a different point. Finding the angle is not easy, but it's possible maybe if Caesar plays the cue ball into the jaw where the red is. He's playing the cue ball into the jaw such that it moves leftwards after contacting jaw. Cue ball into the jaw, onto the red, and it's in. That is brains at work, not just knowledge of the game, but also knowledge of the equipment of the game. This time round the table, the Scorpion wins another with a score now at 6 for Caesar and 3 for Anthony in a race to 7. 4 frames to go. Anthony must win them all or else lose his first life to the Scorpion. You are watching the live stream of the CUEMASTERS International Pool Championship 2nd edition. A brief history of the first having happened earlier this year in the same country, which is hosting the second. Tanzania it is, but first time round it was in the city. That was Dar es Salaam at CUEMASTERS, the Arusha branch of CUEMASTERS hosting the 2nd edition. Royd Kabwe, the Zambian, the defending champion, then a single life comp. It was this time double life. Royd has lost his first life to the same player you are watching now, Anthony YEYO. But yes, Royd still has a fighting chance to defend his title when he starts off tomorrow again in the second life. In this match, Anthony is down by 6 frames to 3 against the last edition's losing finalist in Caesar Chandiga. The race for a place in the first life quarterfinals is 7, with Caesar needing 1 and Anthony needing 4 to make it to the next round. This match is live on Break and Finish Live Facebook as well as Peter Chore Live YouTube, both streams having the same exact commentary, with the match favorite, big match favorite now, Caesar on the yellows, with Anthony on the 3 reds left on the table. Caesar now playing 1 safety shot, hopefully for himself, to dare Anthony to grant him 1 more chance to make a ball. For Caesar, hopefully for himself, to try and finish the frame and make it to the quarterfinals, utilizing as little energy as possible by the player. You need to win with a score as big as possible, such that you are not as tired can be when it gets to the latter stages of these matches. There is an opening for Caesar to finish the frame. Look at the yellow, the corner pocket top left, portable with the cue ball bouncing off the cushion. It has moved a little bit more than Caesar would have wanted. That's why he will not play the center yellow first, but will use the one which is rightwards to move the cue ball in a better position for him now to put another yellow to the center pocket left where there is a red, with the intention to have cue ball good enough to roll the one that is close to the cushion on the left. That is the shot. The one frozen against the cushion, not frozen actually, it's in some kind of space, is the one he should be playing next, but it is also tempting for him to play it last because of the position of the black. You just get a feeling that when you have the cue ball for the will be bad of 2 balls on the table, you play it when you have the chance to put it with some kind of ease. He'll want to play it with precision, but very little power. With the cue ball simply bouncing off the cushion, and in a very tactical way, having a cut between white and yellow, such that it's almost natural him finding the cue ball for black to end the participation of Anthony, at least in his first life. One of the tournament favorites, last year's losing finalist Cesar Chandiga, wins his match in the round of last 16 against Anthony YEYO by 7 frames to 3. Thank you for being a good viewership. Let us meet in the next one. I remain Peter Chove live.